welcome to World Blockchain Roundtable. I am your host today, or hostess, I guess. Litecoin Lisa, also known as Lisa Mighty Davis, also just plain old Lisa. But I have the great honor of being the owner of the Mighty Lair on Den.Social, so jump in there and join me. Also to my right, or is it my left? I don't know if my camera's backwards, but over here is my buddy Zach from the Legacy Right, and we've got his buddy Andrew joining him, the one and only, everybody's best friend and mine, Satoshi Sean, and of course Greg from Rivet. So that's our roundtable for today. We have a couple things to go over, all the official things, officialdoms. Today is the 229th episode of World Blockchain Roundtable. Last week, the hosts will receive 166, and each topic contributor from last week will receive 83.
William just sent a message that he will be here.
Do what?
William just sent a message that he'll be here.
Oh, awesome. Okay.
Sweet.
The Emperor is on his way.
Woohoo!
He said 10 minutes.
He better throw some questions in real fast. Hopefully he has time for that.
Okay. We're going to stop the podcast. We'll be back in 10 minutes. We'll be right back.
We'll give him some time, but that'll be good. Then we'll refresh before he comes in. So,
is he already in? I think I saw he popped up.
Did you see? I didn't get
No,
it.
he said he's driving. He'll be home in 10 minutes.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Oh, got it. Okay. Drive safe.
So each host from last week will receive 166 lot. Each topic contributor from last week will receive 83 lot. Last week's theme was nominated by me. So I will receive 83 lot, and ownership tokens come with perpetual passive income, free edits, governance votes. The theme of this week is silver linings.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. Yeah. So kind of exciting stuff there. And last week was the government shutdowns, right? Blockchain solutions with government shutdowns.
By the way, how many of y'all have forgotten that the government has shut down a million times? Well, I keep getting reminded by the news or something, and I'm like, what? Oh, yeah.
They shut down almost every year.
Yeah, it's like sometimes twice, 3 times. But this is
this phenomenon.
This is the most. I think everyone is numb to it now. Like nobody cares. It's not like a thing.
I think there's probably a tipping point though where it starts to matter again, right? Like, how long do you think the government can not be perceivably doing anything different than it usually does while being closed before people start to go,
yeah,
I wonder if we really do need this thing.
I saw a meme and it said,
I'm just waiting for it to shut down.
Your paycheck, the government hasn't shut down.
I mean, I'm hoping that down the road it actually shuts down. Like Spain shut down years ago. I think it was like 2016 or 2017 for like 20 months or something. Literally,
personally, I care that they're firing IRS agents, but that's just me.
That's
well, I mean,
that's the difference. This time is that people are actually being fired.
That is true.
The crazy part about it, that is a big silver lining, right? The thing people don't know is that the appointment power is advice and consent only by interpretation, rule, and tradition. If they are in fact in session under normal government operating time, right? So as long as they actually hold session when they're supposed to, and there isn't just stuff not happening. That can be blocked permanently with the advice and consent piece. But as soon as the government closes, they are not in official session during what could be plausibly called an executive emergency when they need the Senate to make these appointments, right? It doesn't matter that the emergency is created by the fact that they're just obstructing everything, right? As a matter of political warfare.
Hello,
he can stuff the stuff through, right? So all of those firings they wanted to do with Doge, he can just go back down the list and check them off, right?
Well, that's how he got his appointments through. was
the
they
frustrating
them
thing
closing
that
the
we
Senate.
always focus on, is sort of the fact that he doesn't seem. 'Cause I feel like this is my frustration with it. I don't know if you guys see this, but I really get frustrated with the fact that all of a sudden Trump doesn't want the government to close. You know, like, why is it that always the party in power wants it to close or doesn't want it to close, and the party that is out of power at the moment wants it to close? It doesn't matter. They switch sides. They switch positions on
Theater.
this. It's flabbergasting.
Yeah, I don't know that he doesn't want it to
Theatrics.
close. I think he's just saying it's the other people's fault. Just to
Like, it would have been easy to be like, good, keep it shut, right? If that was, if the point was to kill all the pointless waste, that's a guaranteed way to do it. Because they're not
Trump
spending a lot of money that they would otherwise be.
Yeah, if Trump was the true, if he was the true populist that he came about like in 2015 and 16, he would want to shut it down and just keep it shut.
I think he did want to shut it back then. He was like, "Yeah, shut it, whatever."
Shut it. Yeah, that's what I mean. Now he's in bed.
Compromise.
He's using the
for
government
whatever reason,
a lot more
we feel
now than he did
urgency
last
behind
time.
keeping it open now that we're in the White House. Like, what? Why do you feel urgency about keeping it open?
I know I've told
I will
you
say,
before, but I remember as a kid, I think Reagan was president, and I was young, but I only remember my whole life. I really remember just one government shutdown that mattered, and that's because I was overseas, and it was like over a month. It was a long time, and we're on military bases, and everything's government where we lived, and people didn't get paid. There was no check. Like after 2 months or 6 weeks.
Was it everybody, or did the chain of command get paid the higher up?
I think it was like a lot or all, because that's when the masses were like, well, then we're not going to work. Like,
I would be
soldiers were like, well, we're not going to go to work.
As soon as the people at the top of that hierarchy have options that are elsewhere, right? Like, if you're a general of any star, then you're probably fine to lose your job because you can just go to CNN or whatever and make more, right? Your family's going to eat. But if you're just
this was before CNN. This was way back when things were still a different, world. So it was, then it was opening like questions that never were asked. Like, can you strike if you're a cop? Can you not go to work if you're in the military? You're literally GI, you're government property.
You took an oath,
government
too.
issue. So you
took an oath, right?
You have the right.
It doesn't say unless they're as long as I'm paid on time.
Right. You took an oath.
Sounds like socialism.
Those are the questions that people were asking, and that they didn't want to ask those questions. I remember when it started to happen. They're like, "Okay, fine, everything's fine. Everything's fine. Here's your check. We got the money flowing. Everybody go back to work."
Well, here's the silver lining, though, and I know that the Congress hasn't really convened, though, since then, so that's actually interesting, this sort. But I guess as the government was shutting down, there was a congressman. I don't know if he was in the Senate or in the House, but accordingly, he was hoping or he drafted an amendment to withhold funding to pay the congressman. It never hit the floor. So
yeah,
I mean it's kind of pointless, but that's actually kind of somewhat of a silver lining. At least somebody brought that to their attention.
But that's just theater. That's just theater. All those people. You look at AOC. What does she make? Like 10 grand a month, 15 grand a month, and she's come in, and in like a couple of years, she's worth like $8 million. It's so obvious that they get money from other places. It's like someone on YouTube that makes
arbitrage.
$5,000 a month from YouTube, but $100,000 a month from sponsors, and then like, oh, my videos got demonetized. Oh my, it does. It's such a small part of your income.
Well, I mean, when you're in the government, you can ambush people with competitive landscape changes, right? So it's very, very easy to call shorts and longs, right, and get it right if you can make it so the environment's friendlier or more hostile to the market. It's like of course you're going to win. Getting elected to Congress is an opportunity to insider trade for free for like as long as you can stay there.
Did you see that one senator was questioning the other one because he got found out that he was trading on his phone in the committee while they were voting on the industry.
First mover. He really wanted to take advantage of that pump.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Or he really wanted to short that dump. I don't know what it was going to be.
Well, should we go ahead and jump into
Probably
questions
easier to
or
make
wait
dumps
for
than
William?
pumps when you're in government.
Oh, real quick, Grumpy's got a post here. This is Massey explained that the omnibus bills. Oh, sorry. And 12 separate issues that if they vote on them separately, they wouldn't have to shut down without everyone knowing why.
Right. Mm-hmm. That's exactly right. It's a very astute way to put it.
Of course, he's a grumpy gnome.
Grid called you astute.
Grumpy Gnome, LP National Chair,
Cheers.
2026.
Hello, everyone that said hello, by the way.
So another interesting silver
Grumpy
lining,
Mad Dog.
Suppose this gives us new opportunities to demonstrate how the government actually operates. Sort of like give us some smoke signals about where to look next if you're like a Doge or a person who's doing Doge type work independently, like Mike Benz or somebody like that, right? The things that are still on in a shutdown, that's the stuff they need. That they
right, the stuff like that. Trump's going to go ahead and fund WIC because women, infant, and children that are in need of baby formula and the basics kind of things, that's important.
But the noise of the sort of like client building class, the handout maker engine is off.
Right.
All that noise is out of the system, and we can see who the power clients are, because the only clients they don't serve in a shutdown are the general populace. They still keep on with their military industrial cronies and shit. So like right now is a magic time because they don't have a lot of cover for what they're up to.
I wonder how, if the longer it goes on, it'll affect the chaos, like war in the Middle East, war in Europe. When is it going to start? If that should be such a low priority on our government's, our lives, that if that's still getting taken care of, how is anything shut down?
Well, that's just the sort of stuff they pay first out of the actual tax revenues, right? The stuff that they shut down is the stuff they put on the national credit card.
Wasn't the last shutdown under Trump like 30 days or 30 something days?
I believe so, yeah.
It was one of the longer ones, actually.
Yeah, it was like over 30 days in his first presidency.
Does anyone know what the longest shutdown ever was?
I don't.
I don't have
I'm curious.
Timetable.
Let's see.
Sean, you're on mute.
We should make like a LLM a panelist that we can just ask the questions to and see what it says as a joke at some point. 37 days. That's the longest.
I think he's talking about Trump's last shutdown.
Gotcha.
Because I know it was over 30 days. I thought it was 35 or I guess 37.
The computer doesn't know.
And he said it was the longest. And then Moto says 32.
Yeah.
The longest.
The DuckDuckGo LLM says the longest government shutdown in U.S. history lasted 35 days in 2018.
I thought
January 2019.
Somewhere in there. So that was Trump's
last stable year.
I mean, whatever you do, don't ask Google Gemini, because they will say the wrong thing. They want if you ask when was the last time Ohio State and Minnesota played, or I'm sorry, Washington played, they said that Washington destroyed. It was like 2000. I don't know. It's been a long time, till 2 weeks ago. But it said something like it was like 20 to like 13. But that was wrong. To me, this
seems like somebody's gaming the way we define shutdown. Right? I don't know. I feel like it would have been easily shut down for more periods of time in like a more close to the colonial period. Right? Like closer to the founding, you would imagine that a shutdown, even if it was like a 2-day one and people just sort of headed home, you'd get them back there 2 months later when they got the letters to their houses and they planned to come back, because there'd be no intercepting them after they left. They didn't have phones, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's part of me that thinks they're defining this shutdown so that they can normalize out the slowness of the past.
Yeah, it was 35 days because of the border wall.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
The border wall was like $7 billion or something. It was such a dumb.
Did you guys know
number.
we defaulted on the debt before?
Yeah, I remember that.
Like, they actually gave the bondholders a haircut. Like, the bondholders
His emperor has arrived
in history, and they don't talk about it ever.
We're so glad to have you here.
Thank you, everybody. I guess mic check. You can hear me okay?
Glad to have you.
Silver moons behind me. Silver coins behind me.
Right. Hey, I'd be a grumpy nun too if I was wrong before.
I missed the last 15 minutes of conversation. So
we were just trying to unpack what existential threat to the government hides in it that makes sure that the one thing it always does is stay open for or stay open for periods that usually, or keep from closing, I guess, for periods that usually exceed a month. Like, it's about a month.
Meanwhile, they fire all the landscapers for the national parks.
It seems like there's like something special about the government there that they don't want exposed. That's like dangerous to keep closed for too long.
Well, I do. The Council on Foreign Relations. Oh,
yeah. I was gonna say. Well, Massey's got the votes to release the Epstein files, whatever's files, however you want to define files, or but they want to keep it. Johnson wants to keep the House closed so that they don't bring that to vote, which isn't going to go anywhere because the votes probably won't pass in the Senate, and Trump.
I thought they sealed it. I thought they sealed them the day Kirk was shot.
That's what I heard too. So
accordingly, yeah.
I guess
do we want the files, or do we want? I know it's nasty, but it needs to be exposed. But it's not the files we want; it's the video.
No, I know you're right.
Yeah, I want the name.
We need to be having image recognition AIs trying to fingerprint the people, right?
Not victims.
So that we can make sure the victims are okay.
I just want to see people
that
get
might
arrested.
still be going through it, right? Like, it could not be over.
I just want people to go to jail.
Yes.
I want people to see that you can't do certain things no matter what your job is or what you're doing.
Joe's not here, so I'm just going to
And it would take away the predicate that incentivizes honeypots to deploy children.
I'm never going to get to be host again. Joe's going to go, Lisa lost total control of the show. We're done. Do we want to get into questions real quick? And then
I got to ask Zach one question real fast.
I have something to add.
Do you think the important thing here might be that it actually just removes a shield or an incentive for the CIA to set up honeypots with kids because they know that they have the federal law protecting them from disclosure?
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, with that
I don't know, man. What if all the crazy stuff is true? I mean, the psychotic stuff. What if
it is?
No. I mean, like, what if you've been eating children? What if
it just seems convenient
children to your grandkids when you get them a Happy Meal?
I mean,
like all the psycho, insane stuff.
Like,
allegedly, that's what they were doing on that island.
But what if like this? What if it's like the snowball that starts rolling, and then it all comes out, and we're just like the planet's like, oh my God, we're terrible. We're terrible as a species. How do we allow this to happen? How do we do this? It's just crazy to think about.
The fact is if we find out what was really going on, we're going to find out that it's under the scenes Baal worship. So, which is literally
all of that, like
erotica,
all the stuff comes out, like
murder.
I think we're going to find out that the CIA callously ships children around the world so it can use it to entrap enemies in pedophilia rings. Right. Mm-hmm. I would be not surprised if the actual perpetrators of most of the child abuse weren't working for the Central Intelligence Agency and its partners.
Oh, they most likely were.
As far as how long the government shutdown
was the big bomb here.
Yeah. I think as how far long the government shutdown goes is somewhat of an existential threat, just because more people are going to realize I don't need the federal government Yeah, it doesn't play a big enough role in my life other than what they think it plays. On the flip side, though, there are a lot of people, and I have family members that, they can't make their mortgage payments because now they're not getting paychecks, and they can't make their car payments because they don't have paychecks, and that all ripples through the economy, But then there are larger, aspects of government that we depend on, rely on. And unfortunately, maybe we become more weaned off of that reliance, on government. That's what I'm hoping.
William, I think it's even more broad than that. And I don't want to use the word stupid because I call people stupid because it's frustrating how ignorant people are. But I think literally the thing people will start to realize is that there's different government. If people think government is one big thing, and they're going to realize we don't, because you use the word federal government because you're an intelligent person. And I think people are like, my trash is still getting picked up. There's still cops on the corner. And then they realize what's important. And it goes back to what Beatles, always talked about, Lisa.
Want to feel it most
that people have to focus on their local government. That's where change happens. That's where you fix things.
Get involved yourself.
Yeah. And that when you see how useless and what just a bloated piece of crap federal government is, how it was designed to be the smallest of every aspect of government in our lives, because it's just supposed to have little jobs like to protect the borders, and like it's not supposed to do all the crap.
Right.
Like you said,
it should be smaller than a city government.
I mean, it should be WIC should be run by states or even counties, with subsidies maybe from the federal government. But it should not have to do all that. We shouldn't have. That's why we have trillions of dollars in debt. It should be focused on the smallest amount of government, and everything else could move down the ladder where we have more control. And people will realize that.
I could say this,
we got to pay down that credit card debt too, right? That still has to be mandatory. We don't want to, unless of course we figure out that all the bondholders happen to be dicks and we just want to give them a haircut. That could be an option too. Maybe they deserve it for holding the bag for the people for so long.
Lisa's right. Walk away from it. There's a silver lining. No, you know what though? On the other side of the coin, we have people that are getting deeper in their disdain for Trump because they're blaming Trump for it, and not the government as a whole, or the party of their choice. They're blaming them for it. So I got a feeling that it just helps with the division. And it's all a movie anyway. It's all for show. It's all so that we keep talking about this, so we don't know what the other hand is doing. But there's a silver lining in that, I'm sure.
It's holding silver behind you.
And you know what? That's the moon right here, and that's the moon. And see, I've been to the moon now. See,
there you go.
Silver is going to the moon. Got it.
Well, let's check out the silver linings and what. Andrew, can you refresh just in case somebody jumped in and added a question before we get started?
Sure.
So if you would like to go to Den.Social and you can join us there on the WBRT layer, and you just start an account with an email.
Nice.
It doesn't cost anything, and you can be part of the show by just participating, ask a question. So what is our first question? I'm going to have to
give me all right, I read it.
What is this, a post for ants?
Where are we? Yeah, I'm like, in an ideal world, what are the silver linings of blockchain use on the tiniest scale of governance of nation states? I am. You want to?
All right, I'll go first. And unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to stay long. But on the tiniest scale of governance of nation states, I would think even transparency is the tiniest scale because it's actually simplistic. That's what blockchain has to offer. It's the biggest, easiest thing that blockchain has to offer. So even on the tiniest scale, you might be able to see it as, let's say, your school board, as well, I'm going to define the school board as a nation state, and be able to see all the transactions that go in and out. That would be a silver lining, and would affect governance, because everyone would see how the money is being spent. And then there'd be questions. There'd be more questions. Hey, wait a minute. Why are we spending so much on fuel? Why didn't we have a contract, way into the future, so that we're not paying so much for our buses, fuel or whatever? Because then when things are transparent, shines the light, and people can start asking questions. So I think that's the best thing that blockchain could do, is bring, even on the tiniest scale, because it's simplistic. That's what blockchain does. Bring accountability and transparency to budgets.
I love it. Zach, what are your thoughts?
On the tiniest scale, blockchain, actually, it can help achieve what most people think democracy is. It would actually make democracy more ideal, because it's transparent and it's attached to the blockchain, and you can vote with both your wallet and within your community, and stay local if you choose to, or you can choose to go on a grander scale if you want. But yeah, you would have the opportunity to actually see what democracy in its fullest action could be if we held together with a blockchain technology utilization.
Greg, what do you think about what on the tiniest scale on the issue of governance for nation states?
I've thought about this a lot, actually, and this is one of my favorite things about blockchain that I never get a chance to discuss, so I'm kind of jazzed. The biggest thing that you would get would be the ability to have open source contributions to the way our governance system works operate like a software project. So you could do essentially pull requests on government procedures and make your comments to how the government code works, right? When you have a comment period or something like that, along with a constructive suggestion about how to fix the code. And the neatest thing about this is, in blockchain land, this is all tenuous and dependent upon consensus, right? The way that MakerDAO, for example, sets its current policies when it votes isn't a change to a code base, it's a change to a global settings file that says we're going to use this global settings file instead of that one. And the new one is valid so long as the majority, the voting rules for it, that level of vote is maintained. People could retract and go back to the last settings if they wanted to, and after that fell below 50%, that wouldn't be the main settings file anymore, right? You can actually control the way that the procedure of government works by suggestion if you have that, and you can design it in a way that's provably repeatable and provably being followed. It puts government under glass. It's fantastic.
That's pretty good. Andrew, let us know what you think.
Okay, I'm going to kind of build off of what Greg said, but it might not be immediately obvious. Okay, so in the tiniest scale, I think, is a form of discretion. And if you're going to be running a government, obviously there's going to be people who are going to try to social engineer the government, and the blockchain is supposed to be transparent. You can go and see things that actually work and build a roadmap or a framework. And you can see in our current government, they try to social engineer society in order to allegedly prevent gun crimes and stuff like that, right? You could use the blockchain, and you have the power of the internet. People like on 4chan and on Twitter who are autistic about specific things, and you can build out from there. So that's my answer to the question.
That's great. That's great.
Totally.
Sean,
that's a really good point.
Can you add to the conversation? Oh, you're muted, honey.
Yeah, no. Okay. Sorry.
Okay.
The show is World Blockchain Roundtable, and so many questions. We try to make things sound, smart and go in depth, but every answer is the same answer for years now. It's just transparency. That's what it does. And the things we can expand on what that causes, But Randy in chat said it brings more accountability. That really is what it does. It's just transparency, and it's transparency in everything, that the tiniest scale. And you can look at different, like we're talking, whoever said like school board. I mean, we have the minutes that people take, but it's shorthand. It's very, no one knows what it is. If you don't go to every board meeting, you're not going to know everything. And with blockchain, it's just simplified, and you know who approved that book coming into the school system, who's the one that requested it. Did they have a connection to making money on it? And if there's things in it that are inappropriate, you know who to hold accountable. Where if you go and say who approved this, they could say, hey, we don't know. It was a group decision. We voted. It's all clear. There's transparency. You could say, hey, it was Tom. Tom's the one that signed off on this. Tom wanted it. Tom, we're voting you out next time. You're a crazy person. It just, it's
Sean. Can I ask you to address the one angle that goes unsaid, right? The fact that somebody could say, okay, yeah, we agree, transparency could be awesome, but why does it need a blockchain to be trustworthy, right? I think that's the question that we don't answer as often.
Because it's immutable. It's also immutable.
But that's the point that Randy's bringing, I think, in the chat, is the accountability. You can create accountability with a blockchain.
Right.
The transparency is there, but then there have to be consequences. The if then.
Well, and you design systems so that like there's no way that when somebody does X, that Y doesn't get emitted as an event that gets recorded on chain, and it gets recorded in a way that fingerprints who and what they did.
Right. The contract
if you design it like that, then it doesn't matter if they lie.
That's something we've never had before. Is that you can have instant consequences. If you and that goes to what Zach said,
they don't need to verify.
Is to have that voting mechanism, that true democracy. It can streamline so much. If we as a we're keeping this small. If we say, hey, we don't want any porn in our elementary schools, and then one of the school board members buys a book and there's porn in it that we vote on the blockchain, this is pornography, we didn't want this. Instantly, because of a smart contract, that person is kicked off and there's a new election.
Right.
And they have
and also
to,
every single
that
book,
when
every single instance of the book that got distributed got flagged and quantified, so you know how many kids got a hold of porn, and you can
but it's all see there but under what we have now, we're gonna make an investigation, we're gonna pay for this, we're gonna cost, and then we're gonna look into it, we'll find out, and then it gets shelved and put away. It takes a year, if that.
Exactly. But this could happen in a
right
day,
away, like Zach was saying. Boom, there's a vote. Boom. First off, boom, there's a vote that it's not art, that it's not subjective. We have as the DAO, or we as the community have voted, it is crossing a line. And then because you're the one that approved it, you're the one that brought it into the school.
Right. So doing corruption in the morning gets you a dinner time date in jail at that point.
Or at least you're off the school,
or at least out of the you're not causing the problem for longer than,
and not an arraignment in October and a possible jail or court date.
And you, like I said, even to get to that arrandment, you have to have investigations, you have to have,
and also no media fig leaf, because when it's on chain, you can't go on TV and profess your innocence if it's a public chain, right? Like you can just the answer can be, look at the link, they're just lying to you.
Absolutely. All right. Go ahead. No.
I was going to say, I'm sorry, I stepped away. Can I change my answer?
Sure.
On the tiniest scale would be the individual. And if the individual wanted a bigger say in their vote, in their voice with their government, I would point to the umbrella promise, which would eliminate the money, the lobbying, the capture of the representative, if the representative had to vote per the registered voters' votes within their district or their constituents.
It's also a really novel hybrid between direct democracy and representative democracy. I think without the compromises of either. I think they actually are buttress each other in the way you've set it up.
Yeah. That's all I want to say.
Great solution. Okay, so our next question is from Greg Lang, Mega Texas ETH. What is wrong with downside risk focused precaution only? Is it good to be critical and cautious? Oh, it's good to be critical and cautious, isn't it? You want to kick us off with this one?
Yeah, I'll go with that. It's good to be critical and cautious, isn't it? No. Silver linings. Everything is rosy and peachy, and the government is wonderful, and I love my government, and there is no downside risk to having a government. No. You know what? No, we have to be critical. And we have to be conscious. Cautious of power grabs, of digital IDs, of CBDCs in the form of stable coins, all these kinds of things. I think we have to be critical of them. The question is, will they listen? Do they listen to the will of the people? Are they serving us, or do they have a different master that they serve? So I don't think the downside risk is obviously.
This is I am not just can I just real quick clarify? This isn't meant to be specifically targeted at governments. It's targeted at the philosophy of risk management being all focused on nothing but avoiding downside risk as opposed to exploiting upside risk.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then from if you like in a company setting, you're going to, or let's say an entrepreneur, you're going to take risks. Am I going to invest in this change in the software, or the change in the marketing style, or ads, or the focus or purpose of a company? And there's going to be a downside risk of, is the risk worth it? So, what do we do to mitigate it? And obviously you have to be critical and cautious when you take those steps. I guess if you want to take it in the broader picture in that sense. And that's a really deep subject as far as mitigating risk and managing risk as well, from an individual standpoint to, a business, entrepreneur, corporation, to government, of course. I guess that's, the last thing I just mentioned is that we have to think of, do they serve us? Are they working on our best behalf? Are they spending money on our best behalf when it comes back to the government? And the silver lining is we outnumber them.
That's right. Absolutely. Zach, what is wrong with downside risk? You want to pass to Greg?
I'm going to just add, and then I'll pass it over to Greg, but I'll just confer with William. We outnumber them.
Okay.
So Greg, if you want to explain it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so downside, the thing I was trying to get at here is risk is more than just downside, right? People forget that. There's this old Rudyard Kipling poem pretty much everybody knows. It's almost cliche, but it has a line in it that when you meet with triumph and disaster, you should treat those two imposters just the same. And I think that's what he was talking about, was upside and downside risk being two faces of the same situation. The silver lining is where the upside risk is hiding, I think. And that's why I asked this question. I thought like, some people might look at a show like this and say, oh, Pollyanna, right? And say, why do a silver linings show? But there are, freaking steel-eyed, calm, cold reasons to do silver lining seeking, because that's the way that you turn a risk into a triumph.
I always like looking at the positive side of things, so I was glad to see this subject come up. Andrew, what can you add to this?
Well, when we're talking about downside risk focus precaution, the first thing I think of is self-preservation, and then that self-preservation extends out to, okay, we're trying to preserve the situation. I'm trying to preserve myself, but so is everybody else. So that kind of extends out to group policy, group thinking. I may not survive, but the group will. Well, you're extending that out to, extrapolating that to, okay, well, we can do experiments across the board and not everyone's going to survive, but at least we'll get some useful information. The next thing I think of is COVID and how everyone had to suffer because collectively everyone had mass psychosis. That's what I think of when I think of downside risk focused precautions. So
that's the extreme. That is the extreme sort of.
But
you almost can make up a better example. It's amazing what life actually hands you in real life.
And that's extreme
because it's more absurd.
It's extreme, but that's not the only case. You think about stuff like today, everyone goes and takes their kids to daycare for daycare people. There's no controlled environment for, to see how that worked out. And Stefan Malone was talked about that a lot on a bunch of different other things, that they just do these vast experiments that they don't have any way to qualify any kind of outcomes.
And now this weather manipulation, they're literally messing with like our one and only Earth that we all live on.
Doing crazy stuff, chasing phantoms, where they're like, there's this shadow of a threat because you look at risk as a downside only thing. And so you just do stuff that's interventive and disruptive to the entire situation locally, right? To the markets and to the people that live in the world. When you do that, you just sort of intervene against a future maybe bad.
And this leads to projection, and it doesn't actually solve anything. It actually makes it more complicated and worse. So that's my answer.
Great answer. Good answer. Sean.
That's good.
What's that?
I agree with Greg.
Aw.
You agree with Greg. Okay.
Short answer.
Yeah, it's always safe.
Short answer. Greg's right. Okay. Well, Greg has another question for us.
Can I change my answer again?
Yes. Oh, great, Emperor. Let us know.
Wait, do you love your government?
I love my government. I love my government.
Me too.
No. I would change my answer to this. With great risk comes great reward, right? That's the other big cliche. So, the downside risk is, let's say you're playing poker and you go all in. Well, you could be out of the game, or you might win a massive pot. You might even win the everyone else's pot. So, and win the game. So, there's always a downside, but the bigger the risk, usually the bigger the reward. Not always. So anyway, I just would like to mention, it's kind of like when Cortez, burned his ships behind him. That was a big risk that they would never get home. But so they had to fight to win to survive, essentially. Forget the whole thing about the indigenous and what they did. I'm not going there. I'm just talking about the risk.
How he took away the home field advantage by making his men feel like they had nowhere else to go.
They had no other option. And sometimes that's kind of where, I like to think of the entrepreneur who is
maybe the only reason
going to look at that risk and say, well, the downside risk is I lose my home, I lose everything because I put everything into this business idea or something like that, whatever. Or, hey, I got this job with the government and I put all my eggs in one basket. All my debt is tied to being able to pay down that debt or make those payments on that debt is based on my only job, which happens to be the federal government, which seems to be becoming a bigger trend that they go through these budget things and they shut down and then I can't make my payments, et cetera, et cetera. So they put all their eggs in one basket by having a federal job. Just anyway. Folks, I have to go.
Okay.
I'm so glad I was able to join you. And thank you so much, Lisa, for hosting. Rock on.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us. I'm glad to help.
Silver linings. Remember, we outnumber them.
That's right.
Exactly. Have a good day, William.
Hey, you too. Thanks, everybody. See ya.
Bye. Okay. So we've got another one from Greg. Oh, here we go. This one we wish we had our friend Aaron Day for. Surely there is no silver lining to something like a CBDC, right? Is anything actually all rain and no rainbow? So is there anything positive about a CBDC, Zach?
I heard it's really good, for like your joints and stuff when you use those oils.
That's not the same thing.
I've been holding on to that joke since you made the question. So just okay.
That I've heard that too. CBD is amazing, actually. It really is. But is there something that's good about CBDC? Not necessarily the CBDC itself, but the silver lining to it is the implementation of the blockchain and how we can work around and decentralize and get back to the whole core of what the original white paper is. Like, the blockchain is an organism of itself because you have all these different forks that come and branch off of it, so you can adapt to counter their centralized control with their central bank digital currency and their mechanisms by going as decentralized as you possibly can. So the silver lining would be that even through the negative of the government trying to consolidate, we can still counter them with the blockchain.
That's a great answer. Greg, where were you going with this? Kind of give your thoughts on
it. I'll say, so here's my silver lining for this one. The only way to defeat a decentralized phenomenon, a decentralized peer-to-peer resistance to a certain thing, is to stop it from forming. So while there's a ton of censorship and propaganda targeted specifically at the people who would critique CBDCs independently, like they come from all over the map, from finance to economics to policy to, you name it. It spans a lot of different fields, and these people normally censored and sort of network blocked. They're not going to meet online. They're not going to connect. They're not going to align. You will never have the A team of dissenting against CBDC without CBDC. And the formation of minds around it is powerful and formidable. It's almost as if when it loses, there's going to be a preset class of shadow experts ready to jump in and build something better if they haven't already by the time it falls. I think that wouldn't happen without CBDC. It unified in a way that they've actively censored and sought to prevent. They defeated themselves with it to a certain degree by even having the idea.
Like the hater videos that actually go viral on TikTok and all those things. Yeah, I love it.
I don't know if I'd ever met Aaron Day were it not for them trying to build those.
That's true. That's a great point. Yeah, there you go. Andrew, what is your silver lining, or do you think there's a silver lining in CBDCs?
Well, I mean, when you've got limited moves, limited resources, and you punt the ball just to try to get a small advantage, you're doing a 50-50 gamble, and that's a silver lining in itself, because at some point you're not going to be able to make those moves because you mismanaged the situation so horribly that you're just going to have to fall back on your knee. So that's my silver lining.
And that's where they are. Yeah, I think you're right. Sean, let us know what you think about CBDCs.
Well, I think the biggest silver lining is that they help us get through to people you can't get through to. The indoctrinated and the completely ignorant, because they are hearing that this kind of money is money. Whereas, Libra is what showed me this. It's not a real blockchain. It's terrible, blah, blah, blah. But friends of mine that were absolutely make fun of me about Bitcoin and, fake internet money and monopoly money were asking me, so how do I use this money, this Libra thing? It's, I've heard about it. And I wanted to say, hey man, just don't use it, but you're finally open. This is real. It's real to them. that's, I think, the silver lining is that it makes people
adoption
look down the rabbit hole who never would. They're scared of rabbits. They're horrified of rabbits. They're not going near the rabbit hole. This makes them look down the rabbit hole.
Right.
And then they can learn what's real.
It's Grand Moff Tarkin tightening his grip. Right.
The only thing I would add to the conversation is that the hope and the silver lining that the CBDC would expose more of the corruption that's been going on for so long in our financial system. Because if they have to use blockchain, and if they have to put their dirty deeds on a blockchain, it exposes everything, and that's the last thing we know that they want. So they can't make that make sense. So the next question by Greg as well. Give some examples. What is the silver lining situation? What?
The game is name a shitty situation and then find.
Okay, Greg, you get to start this one because I don't even know what you're talking about.
I meant this to be sort of like a lightning round type of game where we just like name a shit situation and then point to something about it that might actually be an upside, right? So I'm gonna say, God, there's so many. It's really hard to figure one out. The government shut down.
Everybody get a silver lining of what's your silver lining moment of COVID?
Silver lining moment of COVID. That's a good one. The fact that a whole bunch of people did a whole bunch of censorship and showed the world a whole bunch of tricks that then became unusable. The whole world got a crash course in propaganda thanks to COVID, and now we have an expert class that knows how to do spy work, and it's every one of us.
Research. Zach, do you have a silver lining of COVID?
The silver lining of COVID, actually, from my perspective, it kind of shows just how some people began to wake up to just how controlling the government can be, and truly was. Not to say that there wasn't other instances in history, but COVID is a modern instance that kind of woke people up to what the government can do. I wish it fully woke people up. I think it woke the right up more so than the left, but then we flipped, and this instance with Israel and AIPAC and what's going on within the Trump administration now has flipped again to the left. So nobody's fully woken up, but the silver lining is I think people have finally awakened to just how controlling the government can be, and just how much, if you give your authority, just an ounce of authority to another, they're going to use it against you eventually. And that's exactly what they did with COVID. Was they took the inch that you had already given them and then went a mile on it.
You're saying it taught everybody the real meaning of freedom?
I think it did, but then people fell back asleep because we're now resetting, because we're back in the same thing. It's sort of like it's sort of like the like, let's say, the abortion issue. Like when we're talking about the vaccines and your body, your choice, and the left basically being the arbiter of just take it, but then we flip it, and now the right, although fuck abortion, it's satanic, but at the same time, the right is against it for all the wrong reasons, just to get at the left, and the left is now in the narrative of my body, my choice. It's like, well, where were you on this sentiment in 2020, 2021 with the vaccines?
Right.
So,
right. Or all the people that used to talk about why we needed to go to war in the Middle East, and it was because all of those poor women being forced to wear things on their heads against their will, and then we do the same damn thing to ourselves.
Exactly.
Right.
Projection.
But the silver lining is people got a glimpse of what the government can do, the authoritarianism that is on the rise.
Yep. Andrew, do you think there was a silver lining in COVID?
I think there was. Real quick, XYZ sounds a lot like if then else. And so,
well, I used capitals to denote they were classes as opposed to variables.
Yeah, well, I just that popped in my mind when I saw that. But really, COVID, they've got things that they came out behind the scenes, right? World War II, you know, they had weapons and stuff like that that they've been preparing for, and in case something was to pop off. This opened up the gates for people to see. You have to have insurance in case of black swan events. You have to have some kind of contingency plan, and that they're still always up to the same old games that, you know, the government is. That they're always interested in accruing power and control whenever they can, because that's their business. That's always been their business. That we're trying to change it now, but that's always going to be their business for the foreseeable future.
Right.
So the silver lining is waking up to that, like Zach said, having an contingency plan, insurance, and knowing that you can't be stupid about these things. You have to be prepared.
Absolutely. Sean, what was your silver lining for COVID?
I think Zach really hit it. It was it's so dark that you have to acknowledge the darkness as well as the silver lining. I think it woke people up to how corrupt everything is. You know, from it's like scientists, that they're just people. They're not, you know, you can't trust them. They can be bought just like a politician. But I think it was also personal. It was personal because we were weak. It was personal because we were all kind of I mean, everybody did stuff that you're ashamed of. You know, everybody gave in. Everybody did something, and then the fact that, you know, people, like someone that you love or care about was a nurse that was doing a TikTok video about dead people, and you know, it's just, you have to, like we were talking about at the beginning of the show. It's like what's underneath is so bad that you have to kind of put it away and ignore it. It's like, no, I don't want to know about it. So we all went through that, and we're like, I'm not going to admit that. I'm not going to admit that my friend that I've known for, you know, 30 years and I love was doing TikTok videos and dancing about, you know, dead people and telling everyone to, you know, get 17 shots. And it was just, we all took part in it. You know, it's almost like after WW2, it's like, we don't, you know, let's not talk about what Dad did during the war. It's, you know, it was something different. We all just followed orders. So that was but now we know. And now it's like, whenever they started talking about the next, you know, thing that's coming, everybody was like, no, I don't care. You know, I don't believe you. And we all felt it was instant. You know, as soon as it said, hey, monkeypox or whatever it was, we were all like, I don't give a shit. Okay.
No. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, this is why there are practical reasons to turn to the upside, because the downside is always so damn obvious, right? It's centered. Everybody's looking at the storm, and you almost, like you said, have to apologize to the darkness to mention the silver lining, right? Like it's like a precursor to it, where anybody who says anything positive about a situation that sucks has to very carefully couch it in terms of the suck before they even say a thing about the bright side. Right?
It's so bad, you have to mention it. Yeah.
But maybe that doesn't serve us well. Maybe that reflex needs to be readdressed. Maybe we should develop a muscle towards listening to, you know, both people who immediately jump to the conclusion of the worst case scenario and the ones that look at the bright side the same way.
Well, I guess the true muscle that we develop, Greg, is that instant. The next time it rolled around, we were just like, nope, not even gonna mess with it. Not gonna listen to you. Not gonna. I don't want to have any. I don't know. Not. I walked away from this. No,
for sure.
I think that was something that everybody, which that'll go away in a generation. And this is something that I've been dealing with the past few weeks with whenever Halloween rolls around, the past 5 years, because things have been so hard on kids, ever since then. And we're getting to the point where, like my nephews, this is life. They grew up with this is their normal. They're 10.
Mm-hmm.
So when they first learn, like we're 5, and it's like, hey, this is how the world works. I'm going to kindergarten. This is normal. I got to wear a funny suit and a thing on my head, and this is how people. And I can't play with my friends, and
people will come to my house and arrest my parents if I'm not in my seat at this place.
This is how they've grown up for 5 years, and that's.
It's really baby's first introduction to the power of police to come arrest you and cage you.
Yeah, and it's creating this generation where that's normalized. That's just how things are. So I don't know. It really bugs me.
Yeah, it is really silly, especially because parents seem so keen to be beholden to it. Like for me, my immediate I don't have kids yet, but I plan to, and I know for a fact because of how I react to situations like this. If somebody tries to foist how I'm handling raising my kids different, like they voice their way of doing it on me, they're going to face the worst kind of resistance. Not just rejection, but offense at the imposition, I think. And I think that's justified. I think that's how everybody feels when they encounter it.
Yeah, that's what I would say that would be kind of my silver lining, is it forced people out of their comfort zones to do things that they wouldn't normally have done. I mean, my husband got fired. We had pulled my child out of public school. I've got 5 kiddos, and I ended up homeschooling one. I would have never done that had we not been faced with the situation of COVID and them putting up, clinic for sick people in my medically fragile child's elementary school. Just the most bizarre, people starting to work from home. That changed people's whole dynamic way of how to do life. And, maybe some moms quit having their kids in daycare and spent more time at home.
How about how they used the mask requirements as a DEI teaching tool?
That it was very weird. Yeah, that's not a silver lining to me. But for me, the silver lining was that people had a mind shift. It changed things so dramatically of how to do life. And we don't have to spend every waking moment at work. We could work differently. We could work from home. We could spend more time with family. To me, that was a silver lining. So
that's true.
That was important to me.
Family is always a white pill.
Yeah. Fellow agoraphobes also got a silver lining of not having to leave the house.
Right.
Hey, man, brother.
That was magic.
When they said you're all going to stay at home, I'm watching the news and they're like, there's a shelter in place order. I'm like, yeah, bitches. I stay at home all the time. There ain't no reason to go out and about.
Well, I was already a year into doing running a company that you run, but using a remote team setup, right? So, so I was already at home. I was like, oh, so nothing changes except for now I have moral authority over people who want me to leave.
Exactly.
Winning, all the winning.
Yes. So the of the world remember the good times.
Yeah, the other winning is when they want you to stay inside, but it's like, you know what? I'm going to go for a walk. What are you going to do about it?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Well, Greg's got another question for us. Silver lining, seeking a dangerous activity given the dark.
There's supposed to be an "is" in front of that.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay. I didn't write it there.
Is silver lining seeking a dangerous activity given the dark cloud it frames? Why actively avert your eyes to a danger? Sean, do you want to start us off this time?
Sure.
I caught you off guard. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I knew you were going to do that.
You knew I was going to do that to you. I'm sorry.
I did.
So is silver lining seeking a dangerous activity, given the dark cloud it frames? Why actively avert your eyes to a danger?
You can die from drinking water too much. Anything that you obsess over or you go at the wrong way is bad. This is technically, it would be like burying your head in the sand. It's, yes, it could be if that's the main thing you focus on. But if not, it's just looking for the positive and trying to focus on the positive, which helps you get through the negative. So it just depends on the person. I think it's good to look for the silver lining, but you have to be aware of the dark cloud. So I don't think silver lining seeking is dangerous at all, but it could be if you don't acknowledge the cloud.
Good answer. Andrew, what do you think?
Well, I mean, you have to manage your pride and, manage your risk. And if you're not careful, you're just gonna run yourself right into a difficult situation. And so I think, trying to always find meaning in something is kind of a fool's errand. You have to be a little cautious and a little smart, and you just have to choose your battles. So maybe that's my answer.
It's a good answer. Greg, do you want to let us know your thoughts?
Yeah, I would say 2 key points here. One is you shouldn't really fear that taking your eyes off a thing that we're biologically like hardwired to notice first is going to be an activity that is going to cause, everybody to miss the danger if it's not you paying attention to it too. If there's anybody but you looking at a problem, then the danger is the first thing on everyone's mind, right? That's just the way humans evolved, because we couldn't evolve any other way, right? Better to believe that thing in the bush might have been a tiger and run away than it is to check and see if it was, for instance, just a stockpile of fruit or something, right? Like fear was very useful in nature because nature is vicious, right? So when you take your eyes from it, you're doing something that everybody else is not doing. So if you're worried about missing the risk or missing the downside risk, then you're worried about something that's kind of not going to be a problem, right? It's already covered. The second thing is we really can't afford not to, right? The silver lining in any bad situation is always where the answer that gets you out of it okay is hidden, right? You want to navigate. We sort of walk towards what we look at. And so we should look at where we want to go.
Zach, what are your thoughts on this?
Should silver lining seeking a dangerous activity given the dark cloud it frames? Why actively avert your eyes to a danger? I think that silver lining seeking, it's short and sweet. For every black pill that you swallow,
silver lining seeking is short and sweet.
Yeah.
Did you really say that? Silver lining seeking is short and sweet? Okay.
It's short and sweet. But for every black pill that you swallow, there's always a white pill that you have to take. So you basically take both the black and the white pill. So every negative connotation has a positive outreach in the end. So out of collapse, out of destruction, there's always creation. And that's the reason why I look into the lens of the world, especially now, coming back into faith, that through authority of reason and the adaptation of faith, I understand that we're trying to explore and figure out what life is all about and what its purpose is. So you have to take in the negative to extrapolate what is good that's coming out of that negative, because there's always a risk in everything that you do, whether it's positive or negative. So you have to find that white pill. So creation out of destruction.
Interesting. So my thoughts on this are focusing on probably more of the second part of the question, why actively avert your eyes to danger? And I think about in golf, if you focus on the hazard, that is where your ball will go. And so if you want positive things in your life, and in the Bible it says, the fruits of the Spirit, follow the fruits of the Spirit, and that's God talking to you, and not when you hear fear, anger, jealousy, all that, that's not. So to me, they call me the Queen of Hopium and all those things, all those terms, people talk about me with that. And I'm happy that I look for the positive things. I look for the silver lining. I look for, the what if, even in the shittiest, scariest situation, I'm like, but this could be the good guys winning,
The noble reputation.
That's okay. I'm okay with that. And that's because I do look for that, find that joy, find that win. And I think that's, the universe will come to you, what energy you're putting out there. We are always manifesting our world. And so if you're putting into darkness, that's your reality. That's what you're creating. And so if you're putting into that silver lining and averting your eyes to, I wouldn't say danger, but the darkness, then I'm not going to give the darkness my energy. So that would be
that's the thing about averting your eyes is in order to do it, you have to look first. Right. So know your risk. This is not saying ignore your downside. This is saying know it and then look away.
But don't give it your power. Yeah. Right. Look to that silver lining. And then this crazy girl, Lisa Maddie Davis, asked a question before she ever watched Andrew and Zach's show with Greg, which everyone should watch every Wednesday on the Legacy Right. Is it called Silver Linings, and they have a great discussion. So check that out. So then I started
basically going to struggle ourselves into making ourselves see silver linings and bringing people along with us. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, it was a great show.
It's not going to be an uncritical Pollyanna-ish kind of silver lining adoption. We're going to poke holes in what people think is the silver to see if it's real.
Yes, more critical thinking. It was a good discussion. So what problems do you see in the silver market currently, and how can blockchain bring a silver lining to provide solutions? Who wants to start off with this one? Any problems in the silver market? Andrew, go ahead.
I've heard rumors that the big players in silver and in gold have been rigging the markets for years. I know there's manipulation in every market, and there's no way to get around it. But at least blockchain can bring a new layer of transparency, like it was spoken about in the comments earlier on YouTube. That's my answer to your question.
Yeah, I think that's a great solution. Absolutely. Anybody else have
I've got one.
Greg, go for it.
I've got long-term opinions on silver, actually. So the problem with all precious metals that they're going to face is that when Starship gets up and running, we have tonnage to orbit like that, people are going to start en masse mining asteroids. And very soon, there will be so much silver supply that it will not be supportable as anything resembling precious any longer. It will be more of a utility metal. So the question then becomes, what does that change? Because silver is so wonderfully reactive in different chemical processes, some of them very expensive now because silver is expensive. When it becomes, sub $1 per ounce or lower, right? Sub $10 per ounce, right? Like you could go, that ratio could go pretty low. We could see it turn into a commodity metal.
Interesting.
Which would be fantastic, because that would mean like all the cool processes you can do with silver that used to be like, well, yeah, you can add your precious holy grail water to the engine here and make it run, but now all those processes are going to be cheap because we have silver coming in. So blockchain can help orchestrate the shift from precious metal to commodity metal, and do so in a way that doesn't prevent those use cases from emerging from a whole bunch of people disappointed that their holdings are now a tiny fraction of the asteroid that just towed into orbit.
Okay, interesting. So the technological advances would make up for the loss in monetary value. Yeah. Interesting. Sean, what do you think? You're muted again.
Sorry.
Damn it, Sean.
That was, well, like Andrew said, I think the biggest problem is that silver is not just manipulated, but it's so easily manipulated by certain people. And that has to get fixed. And we've come close, like once or twice. But I think bringing it to the blockchain would help once again, just because of transparency. Yeah, that's it. It's just lack of transparency, which causes the manipulation, which is like we've had some of the worst inflation. We've had some of the worst times, like since the 70s, and things were going the way they should go. You know, precious metals were going up, skyrocketing, going up fast. Mm-hmm. Everything was going according to plan. The new kid on the block, crypto, was taken off with that, so it was kind of put into that category as real money. You know, not as debt, but it was compared to gold, compared to silver, and then it's been smacked. It's been manipulated. Mm-hmm. So I think that's the main issue, and bringing it to blockchain with that transparency just it makes that so much harder to do.
Yeah. Zach, do you want to chime in on silver market and how blockchain can bring a solution?
Yeah. The silver market, as it currently is, you're seeing the manipulation more so is because of the inflation. They've printed so much money. They've created so much excess in dollars that you're seeing a correlation towards the depletion of the value in the dollar. And so it's matching up to where silver is in accordance to the worthlessness of the dollar. Silver in itself is held its value. Same with gold. So I think to apply it with the blockchain, to like gold or silver back it, whether it's like Litecoin or tokenized through Xano or what have you, you could effectively, like what Greg said, you could attach the utility of what silver can give you while also applying it to the decentralized and transparency apparatus of what blockchain can give you. So it effectively can help give back that value and that power in both purchasing, utility, and just human ingenuity back to individuals.
I love it. Focusing more on use case. I was kind of thinking the same thing as just to bring another thing. I think all of you guys had great answers, but also just the issue with transactions. So, being able to have a digital version of silver and transacting in that using the blockchain, I think would be a great solution to silver. So, and I think that's coming with the ITMs and those little notches on the silver eagles, but we'll see, what happens.
I don't remember exactly how it went down, but I know either Peter Schiff or somebody he advertised for had some kind of service where you could hold like your silver and gold in an account and then use like a debit card and it would debit from the value of the silver.
Yeah, Peter Schiff has that with his company.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Check
I can remember it was.
Yeah, I think Andy has one of those with gold.
You guys want to hear something cool? Silver has better conductivity than copper and aluminum. It would by 6%. It would improve the efficiency of all power transmission by 6% if we could use it cheaply and by making power lines. It would also make computer integrated circuits on circuit boards better. Right now, it's like, let's make it out of silver. It's sort of like, let's get a gold-plated toilet while we're at it, right? But if it were cheap, then all of a sudden why use copper on integrated circuits? It sucks by comparison. And its thermal conductiveness is even crazier, right? Like, so it's going to be able to be more densely packed without any heat disruption. It would be like computing to have silver be a commodity metal.
Why use copper for pipe? I mean, obviously we've gone to PVC, but why use copper for your drainage pipe and all your plumbing when you could have used silver? Because of its maybe that isn't a good thing. Never mind, because of its conduction. But no, to that point, but to that point, that actually, that's the reason why you should probably be eating your food with silverware, actual silverware.
Yes, because it's antibacterial.
Mm-hmm.
It's true.
This is general advice. Don't go up to a power line thinking you can just take the material of it and not get electrocuted.
Unless there's copper. Then the risk is there.
I guess there's a dark line to the silver lining. I guess if we switched all our power transmission to copper, it would incentivize stripping of houses a lot more readily as well. Because I guess maybe not, because it would be cheap then. No, actually, you're right. I think this is probably a non-problem.
Wait.
He's like, wait,
titanium to eat.
Yeah.
You can eat titanium?
No. Did that come through clearly? Did that actually come?
No, it's the comment.
Sound like I said
it's the comment.
No, comment. I think he's talking about using silver to eat or use titanium to eat.
Oh, titanium is
to
good.
eat. Titanium to eat.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, that silverware, that titanium ware is all awesome. Like, if anybody's ever handled it, it's really cool.
I have not heard of titanium ware. I'll have to keep looking for it, but I do recommend silverware. Definitely. So that's it for our questions. We've got some more time if we want to kick around some current events.
Okay.
Yeah, got a good one. Some good news for once.
Yeah.
Good for a Silver Linings episode. Germany backed off of their sort of wavering on that chat control thing. So they were about to potentially flip and do the thing that Germany's been doing lately, which is slide into surveillance hell. But they pushed back on this particular thing the EU wanted to impose, which would have allowed them to device side scan everybody's devices, like Apple notoriously tried and failed to do once upon a time in the US. So we actually won one for once.
Is that similar to the WeChat thing in China or whatever, where they have to use that to get paid and it has a social score attached to it and all that?
Think about it like this: it would be like going from making it illegal to say post certain things, like post memes in the UK, to making it illegal not to filter at the device side pre or post unlock but pre transit encryption. So like they're basically they want to run a little daemon, it's called a daemon, a computer program that runs in the background of your operating system. I call them demons because sometimes they are, right? Mm-hmm. It runs in the background and checks the fingerprinting hashes of your everything, right, against a list of verboten data patterns that you're not supposed to have, bit signatures that match these certain hashes. Wow. They sell it as a way to fight child abuse, because the first use case they want to put it to is instantly alerting the police and identifying somebody who has something that detects as an illicit image, right? That's illegal. But that doesn't account for something that's neat called hash collision, which is something you can do using steganography, which we've talked about, hiding secret messages behind images.
Right.
You can actually tune the hash of any image to match any other without changing the image using the same technique. So if you wanted to adversarially send out a cat meme or something that was going to set off the CSAM trigger from the missing and exploited children database that they use, from the Center for Missing and Exploited Children, then all you have to do is go download the database and start testing, and you can develop yourself a set of weaponized instant sort of swatting techniques where instead of swatting, you get someone insta-flagged for being a pedo, right? So they were setting the table for that in Europe, which would have meant that it had to be on all our devices, because Apple's not going to make a European version of the iPhone that doesn't have that on it, or that has that on it, and one that doesn't for us. So they're going to build a toggle in the software, right? So all that has to happen for that to be imposed upon us is for a legislator to mandate it, and Apple will flip the toggle here too.
Well, and the example of that we've lived through, when people say that sounds crazy, that could never happen. Oh my goodness. But that's what happened with the Patriot Act, is that they were going to, govern us harder, daddy. They were going to protect us from, those bad Arabs that took down those buildings and start patting us down at the airport, for 3 ounces of water and take everybody's precious metals away from them as you go through the,
Yeah. Well, if you want to make it hard for liberty advocates, then all you have to do is pose a situation where you have to defend or be seen defending apparently pedophilia, right? Because you have to make the argument, no, we shouldn't do this. The risk is too great. Well, they're saying we need to protect children by hunting them down and locking them up, right? That doesn't mean that we want to do a mass dragnet for that, but they're going to lose that nuance when they smear you, because that's how propaganda works.
Mm-hmm.
It sets up the system for wins that it shouldn't be getting away with without conversations.
Yeah. They can do all kinds of strange things with phones. My mother still can't call me, but
Isn't that nuts?
It's not. Mm-hmm. It's very weird. Yeah. We can text, thankfully,
but so anyway, it's driven back for now. That's the good news. The maybe bad news is we need to stay focused, because they're not going to put it away and give up. They're just going to rebrand it and come back like they always do.
Well, and that's what this push right now with the freedom of speech thing, that with the Charlie Kirk death, and like you guys were saying earlier, where Zach, you were talking about it with well, when it was the left, it was this issue, my body, my rights. Now it's the right, it's this issue, and we talk about this a lot. 2 wings of the same bird, and all this. Well, and it's a very slippery slope, and we've gotten in this culture where being a victim wins. If they're a victim, you can't, the Me Too crap and all that, and you can't call somebody out and say, just the facts. What are the facts? And we are a republic, and you're not to infringe on the individual. And they've gotten this mind shift where but the victim and the group and the political correctness bullshit. And so then we get down this road, and now they're saying, oh, you cannot even question that Charlie Kirk was really shot, or who he was shot by, or that, he was shot at all. And how dare you, or they can label you and call you something, which for some reason that's okay, and then they want to immediately say, oh, well, we need to, censor that person, or that person needs to be canceled. And people that are on the right are cheering for now censorship, which they all experienced during the Great Infection and during all these things.
It's Bulverism. You guys remember Bulverism from C.S. Lewis? Where he made up this sort of satirical PhD to come out and say something like, he wanted to illustrate a problem where everybody was going to hear what someone else was saying, pathologize it, or make it an issue of identity, and ignore the content. And the 2 sides doing this to each other is what was happening in the world back then too, right? Like where a whole bunch of people who had really drunk some Kool-Aid were up against people who drank a different flavor of Kool-Aid, and they were going to have it out like it was the console wars or something, right? It was insane then, and it's still insane, but he poked fun at it by calling it Bulverism, who posed it as a rhetorical strategy for people who wanted to avoid ever having to know anything about the content of what somebody says, but still win.
The most dangerous part is that instead of taking power over yourself, you're looking for someone else to be the judge of all of us.
We should call it neo-Bulverism, because it's different now because of the internet, but I wonder what C.S. Lewis would say about it today.
Yeah,
he'd say get off social media.
Probably.
On social media, though, probably.
On social media, yeah.
He'd be
Yeah.
on social media.
He'd be one of those
popping off
guys.
all the
He's been
time.
tweeting it out. Yeah.
Yep. This social media use is toxic. Every 3 minutes, you know, he's online at 3 in the morning.
For sure, for sure.
He's hanging himself on that cross daily, man.
Well, I heard there's peace in the Middle East, but I also heard that they had, like, right before they agreed to this, that Israel, like, rained down a giant
Of course.
Just like they did with Iran.
Well,
yes.
of course they did.
Yeah. When they knew they were about to sign.
I think it's fair to assume at this point that any seemingly unfortunate random military event that happens in the world probably has something to do with us until proven otherwise.
Well, clearly, if we have to be there at the table.
No,
Birds of a feather flock together.
I would bet that there's so much more attributable to the stuff that we've done than we know that we would be shocked even still in this day and age where nobody's shocked by volume of information anymore. Like, I think if we ever actually got to see all of it all at once, it would blow our minds.
Now, what are all your thoughts about the Pope Leo XIV blessing the ice?
Isn't that an idol? Like,
somebody's setting themselves up a neat sort of beverage sidecar market. That ice is permanently for sale at higher rates than any other glacier ice.
Right. I think
now it's consecrated.
You probably start a holy water bottle.
No, go ahead, Andrew.
It's inside baseball. Someone owed somebody a favor. Climate change.
Was it a climate change or was it a nod to ice? Like,
it was. I think it was a climate change conference, and I mean, it's sentimental. I mean, the consecration of the holy water is the blessing of God. So he blessed it. So I would like that ice. It's blessed now. It's of God now. I want the ice.
I thought God created it in the beginning, and he wouldn't need the Pope to then go touch it.
Yeah, but there's something about consecration.
As long as he's not discriminate with it, like if he leaves that glacier and someone else is like, "Hey, bless my taco salad, please."
Mm-hmm. Well, it's no different than
to be there. If you said no, that's a waste of my breath. Then we have a problem. But like, if you bless anything everywhere it goes, then I'm okay with it.
Well,
See,
I mean, it's no different.
The conquest of bread.
It's no different from if you move into, like, say you move into a new home and you ask your priest to come in and bless it. That's where I look at it. It's no different. You're blessing your home, and getting rid of the evil spirits. That's the hope, that you're blessing it so that you have grace. And
so it was evil ice before that.
Yeah, it might have been evil ice.
I think if
it has something,
they were meeting.
I think it's silly, and it's just meant to kind of tear down that pillar of religion. Yeah, it's because it's silly, and
it's silly.
A whole bunch of state worshipping eco-fascists basically got their summit of 2 religion heads, though, right? So anybody who's worshipping at the Church of Climate has some validation from one of the oldest religions now.
Yeah.
So that was nice, right? It's good to see interfaith communication.
That's always a good thing. Interfaith. Maybe we can get the climate apologist religion to come to Christ.
This is our back to the 90s. Ice,
maybe
baby.
we can get some members back by increasing.
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
Some strategies from the
Exactly.
eco-fascists.
We
can all
That's
learn
how
from
I
each
look at
other.
it. That's the silver lining.
I'm teasing.
But now it's Christ ice baby. Christ ice baby.
Rhymes.
Christ ice.
Do not go outside today, Sean. You may be struck by lightning.
The green cult is a cult that's left demoralized, probably. So that may be the one downside here.
So crazy. Any other good news? I don't know.
Netanyahu just said to give Trump the Nobel Prize.
What?
Of course he did.
minutes ago. Yeah.
Yep. Upon receipt of shipment of weapons.
Terms and conditions
Nobel
apply.
Peace.
Like
That's like the
as soon as they get the money for
story I've
murder,
seen.
they get the Peace Prize nod from the guy who gets the murder weapons.
Well, at least it's better. I mean, Obama just got it just out of spite and then started murdering. So, I mean, I guess in this you can make it look like it's
when
decent.
Congress is going to give up on the neocons plan like everybody else has, because they could stop this now.
But they'd have to go back to work.
Well, yeah, okay. Well, how about this? We're okay with you stopping it whenever it happens to end, but stand on your principles.
No,
I did hear that.
If they're listening to this, I want them to keep fighting. That's what I'm saying.
Something I wanted to just throw out there is, we talked about Massey and things coming out, and we just want to see people come to justice, just be arrested. The Comey, it's like he did all this stuff. Look what he did. Oh my God, he did this, he did that, he did this, he did this. This is terrible. He should be killed for this. This one you can get killed twice. This one they still can hang you in like 5 states.
Mm-hmm.
And he's arrested for lying to Congress.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Which kind of makes it an irony, because I mean we all know Kash Patel now is lying to Congress and he's fine. So
Yeah.
it's a flip of two sides.
It's literally like the guy walked around just shooting 20 people on video, and they arrested him for jaywalking. Or, it does.
Well, no, I think they probably arrested him on a carefully thought out charge that he couldn't weasel out of, even if the jury was on his side. Like if you were prosecuting somebody in the snake pit from a jury pool of snakes, you have to be airtight if you want to win. If you want to win a case against a swamp thing in the swamp, Ladies
and gentlemen, the example of looking for the silver lining. There you go.
Yeah, that's a great.
The silver.
It's probably
the silver lining is
then they've got him dead bang, and he will not walk from that. And then they can go after people a lot more bombastically if they want, because they'll have some credibility.
Yeah, but what do you get? What happens if you get, convicted of that? Oh, you lied to Congress. You're going to go to jail for 6 months.
Dude,
well,
I guess that's the silver lining is maybe the hope is when the Democrats are in power, which is inevitable, they're just going to do the same thing, and you're going to see the other side go to jail for lying to Congress. So it's a silver lining, and it's a catch-22. So
right, but it's elites eating elites, so it's completely it's crime that nobody outside of DC has to worry about spilling over onto them. If you think about it like that.
Yeah.
We should encourage the same kind of division they encourage in us for once.
If we go that long.
Well, now they're having round 2 of all of this. Is this Jack Smith thing, where the leak where they were spying on these 8 Congress senators, sorry, yes, and people, and they were spying on J6ers, and they're spying on other people as well, but they're mostly focusing, or the media is focusing on these senators. And what I thought was really interesting in the hearing is they're asking Bondi, now, what would you have to do to be able to get that? Because they did get a warrant to buy. And she said, well, you would have to have not just show cause, but good cause. And Ted says, I think it was Ted Kennedy that was asking the questions, and said, well, what would they have had to thought you were involved in? And she said, well, they would have had to thought you were involved, had proof or good cause that you were involved in a criminal conspiracy. And so I wonder if this is going to end up flipping on its head. And because people are like, lock Jack up. Oh my gosh, he was spying on senators. But what if they actually wait, he did have good cause, and these senators actually were, because it's rhinos. It's like
I think we want to extend accountability up and down the chain. I think
Lindsey Graham and all that.
Yeah, but Hawley's not a rhino. They're going after Hawley.
Well, maybe they show that he's not.
Sentence,
but if they show what they were doing, we already know that these things happen. And we saw that with the Comey thing, and that they've weaponized, the FBI and misused it. And so now is it going to be used for good and exposing some of the bad stuff going on? I don't know.
Well, King, it's kind of crazy when you think about it, because King Snake is getting tried in the snake pit. It's nuts. The kind of thing going on there with this. So the weirdness of it, I think, is going to be, seeing all of the elite culture gestures that are normally private take place in public.
And they're going to start rolling over on each other.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's the whole point of the conspiracy charge, right? You lean on the first conspirator you get until they roll, and then everybody else falls. The idea is
it's like insurgent math.
Get somebody who's willing to squeal in exchange for their own freedom, and take out the conspiracy in return for giving one bad guy a free pass. It's a good trade, usually. But you also have to remember that they're going to immediately take the apparatus and reapply it as soon as they have a precedent for the behavior. It means it's going to be government-wide. Every time an administration changes hands, we will see a raft of prosecutions for all the crimes that might have occurred.
Well, if we overload the system,
it'll become a new trope. But I have no problem with people trying government officials for failing in their duties, man. Like, even if that happens, look in the other direction. We want people who aren't really doing any good for the sides we support to be rooted out too, and our enemies will do that service for us if we let them.
I think that's a dangerous thing that like Lisa was talking about, how people are so stupid. They are stupid, not ignorant. They're freaking dumb when they cheer for evil if it's their side.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, yeah, screw free speech and screw that for this guy. Like it all started. Alex Jones. It's not good, but this guy is special just for this guy. And it wasn't like yay for our side on that. It was just this one exception. But you can't make an exception, and you should never be happy even if you're getting something from it, if you're winning, if something is wrong. Wrong is wrong, right is right. Right is not easy.
Right. Winning the wrong
it's always
way
harder to do
the
right.
Winner as much as the loser, essentially.
Because like Zach said, it's going to flip.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something like so many of my liberal friends now, they're so pissed at me because I don't care. They're like, look at this, look what, oh my God. I was like, yep, what you going to do?
Right.
They're like, he's going to put everyone in cans. Like, probably.
Yeah.
He's going to kill him.
And you really, what you really want to say to them is, hey, dickhead, like, I'm just trying to be polite about the fact that you were a dick to me about this when I was under the boot.
It's like, hey, man, this has to happen. The other side did it. These people are in power. Either they're pussies and they don't do anything, or they do the same thing, which was wrong before, and then they fight it out and everything falls apart, and then we got to rebuild it. That's
lucky conservatives are by nature polite, because they would have been dancing on our graves as they watched this, and very loudly and cruelly, just like they did. The COVID stuff really taught you who your friends were, and who were just going to be propagandized away into the bot machine.
Well,
Delexite.
It's another silver lining. You know who your true friends are if you survive something like that.
The more you overload the system, the quicker it capitulates.
Yep.
I think it's going to have to fall apart.
Yeah.
And
adding more is a reliable way to make complex systems blow up. So, we should encourage that whenever possible.
And that is why we should say Delexite.
And cheer for the shutdown.
Yes, whoever takes credit for it, I thank you, and I will start a petition and a movement and urge a holiday in your honor.
Anybody want to talk about Trump wanting to pardon Maxwell?
He doesn't want to. He said he'd look into it.
I bet it happens.
But the smoke, there's fire. It's going to happen.
Or it's just a play to distract from everything else.
That was
like our crash.
That was like ridiculous.
Our plummeting economy.
In a press conference, he was asked about it, and he said, "Oh, I'd look into it," just like he would say anybody else's name that was brought up.
Well, if he doesn't do it, we'll know he got something cool for it, because and whoever bought it from him was powerful in a way that he doesn't usually have access to.
You think
And if he
That's
does,
the way I see it. It's a power
and if he
tool,
does
right?
do
you
it,
want to
then we
trade
will.
that to whoever wants to keep this secret, including apparently the president.
Yeah. And if he does do it, then it's the proof that he obviously trafficked to people that she's not
got a loaded
convicted to
gun,
traffic.
and right
I was
now
gonna
he's
say that's
deciding whether or not to hang it on the wall.
There's people
know?
could change it, say whatever they wanted to about that situation. Yeah. 'Cause
Also, something I picked up on. Have you noticed? Because I really always look for like little words. She's not his associate. She's not his business. She's his girlfriend. All of the reporters, everyone has changed it to his girlfriend.
That's weird.
I
What are
thought
they trying to cover up about her?
I thought it was weird.
Pro tip: anytime they're switching something for the sake of accuracy, they're really switching it for the sake of covering up something they don't want you to notice.
Yep.
I thought she was always his girlfriend.
I know this very directly. Like, if you go onto any state legislature or federal legislature's website and look at the bill versions, you can see the head title that goes in the hyperlink that gets indexed by the search engines. You can see that thing evolve over time as a bill gets cruft added to it. It's fantastic. By the end of it, it'll say something like, construction matters, and it will include like a whole new regulatory agency or something. But it'll start off being like America needs new roads or Fill Potholes Act. It's fantastic how things start versus where they end. It's an amazingly telling journey.
And then the obstruction begins.
Yep. But don't fill the potholes yourself.
Well,
they will be
for things
dug up.
Added and see who adds them, and then see what favors they bought from the bill sponsor. Like if you want to know who is gonna ask Massey not to release this and succeed, they're gonna trade him something in a bill they're sponsoring. So look for Massey to get something in a bill that he wouldn't normally, and you'll know who is behind it.
Talk about the ridiculous the government shutdown. Did you ever hear the story? This guy or a group of friends, they came together and they just started filling the potholes in their city. They like paid money and they bought this stuff and they filled it. And the city said they weren't allowed to, and took this pothole stuff out and put the potholes back.
Yep,
I've
heard that story.
Dumbest. Yeah. I mean, they couldn't use city employees and city funds to fix the pothole, but as soon as they were fixed, they could put resources in to take the pothole stuff out and create the potholes again.
That right there just kind of proves that they just need government problems or government problems just they created. Like they need the problem to be there so they can continue to get money.
Yeah. Oh, but it has more to do with the fact that all changes in the roads have to be logged before they're made.
That too.
And that if they're not in the system, then they violate 10 or 15 different transparency oversight boards regulations on them. And so like the rules about rules are the things that actually down the project and make them go hammer that shit out. So they can log it when they fix it. But they don't fix it on the spot, right? They just log that they did the corrective work against the vandalism they log it as.
No, I did see a meme once about somebody went and put like a phallic or something like that right next to a pothole, and the city came and fixed it right away. So I guess that works too. Yeah, because it had to send somebody out to like get it off the road. So
yeah. Well, I mean, and the way they think about road stuff with the green crazies influencing it has twisted to a certain degree. So they see anything that makes road travel uncomfortable as environmentally beneficial. Therefore, I wouldn't be surprised if there weren't some private policy directive among state highway institutes that comes from the feds. And if you want your Fed funding, you do this, right? You instruct your local people to leave potholes as a general rule to last because they calm traffic or some shit, right? Literally, they just make driving unpleasant, so it's good because cars suck because we're the government and we want everybody to ride bikes and never go more than 15 miles from their homes.
The 15-minute cities, that's the future. Not for me, but well, do you guys want to wrap it up?
Sure.
Close.
I say so, yeah.
Yeah. Andrew and Zach, what do you guys have going on? I know we had you had your show with Greg last night or yesterday. Silver Linings on the Legacy Right. So that'll be every Wednesday now.
That'll be every Wednesday. Between we don't have an actual start time completely, but at least around 11:30 a.m., 10:30 a.m. Central Time live, and then you can watch it anytime. So, because it'll be up there. So, but that'll be every Wednesday around the midpoint of your day. So, and then Andrew, would you like to go off the second part?
Check us out tomorrow. We're going to continue covering Law Zero with Greg at 11 Eastern, 10 Central. I'd like to welcome Greg as an official member of our podcast. It's going to be a good time. Check us out on YouTube and Rumble. So
he's technically Greg is the guest for this Law Zero series on Weekly Legacy on Fridays, but he is an official member for Wednesday. He is joined.
Exciting news.
Fantastic.
Greg, what else do you have going on?
Well, I will say this again, even though I already said this to these guys, but I think everybody should know it, that the reason that I'm joining up is because, one, I love having fun with fun people, and these guys I always have a blast with, but two, there's really important work to be done in the world right now, and when I see people doing it, my impulse is to help, and I try to join things that are awesome. And it's just an awesome thing that they're doing. I feel like people need to look at the world from the angle that they're bringing it. I don't think very many other people are bringing it, and that's why I want to contribute. So I'm really happy to be a part of it, and I'm really happy to help grow it. And I'm excited for what we uncover, because I think there's magic in this hat nobody knows yet.
Mm-hmm.
Good stuff. Sean, how are you?
Check me out. I got a lot of work I'll be doing this weekend. That's about it.
Okay.
Check out me and Lisa on Tuesday, which hopefully we'll be starting these back again next week.
Yeah, we both had a little under the weather on both of our parts, and we are both back feeling good, and we'll be back next Tuesday. So watch that on our channels, Truth Tuesday with Satoshi, Sean, and myself. And we'll see you guys back here on the WBRT on Dragon Chain next Thursday. So.
What's the topic? For Oktoberfest.
Oh, Oktoberfest next week.
Right.
Bring your
Steins.
Beers. Bring your Steins. Fill your Steins with whatever you want, Andrew.
Yep.
Pussy. You're not going to have beer.
I don't have a Stein.
Oh, man.
See what I can find.
Go buy a Stein. I don't have a Stein either. Get a beer.
I bet you right now you can actually get a Frankenstein. That'd be pretty fun.
Probably good, actually. Just bring a Frankenstein, like an actual Frankenstein.
All right, guys.
Okay.
The very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society. And we are as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and secret proceedings. For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence, on infiltration instead of invasion, on subversion instead of elections, on intimidation instead of free choice, on guerrillas by night instead of armies by day. Its preparations are concealed, not published. Its mistakes are buried, not headlined. Its dissenters are silenced, not praised. No expenditure is questioned, no rumor is printed, no secret is revealed.